Have you ever asked yourself, what do I need to do to get more people to buy? Or what strategy am I missing? Well, in this video, I'm going to give you two better questions to ask that if you can answer yes, it is guaranteed to bring in more sales from your content. Because if you can't answer a resounding yes to these two questions, it doesn't matter what content strategy you use to bring in more leads and make more sales. It's either not going to work or it won't be sustained. And that reminds me, I have a training for you down below. It is the 7 content traps that is costing you sales. It's a free training, and I will post a link down below for you to check it out. So these two questions, you're going to want to be really quick to answer them, and you're going to think that they're really easy and simple questions to answer. But I encourage you to just pause for a second because I don't want you to answer these questions from your head. I want you to answer these questions from your body. What do I even mean by that? A couple of years ago, I was at a network marketing event. It was my company's annual event, and the company was announcing their next incentive trip. And the moment it was revealed, the crowd went wild. And I don't even remember where exactly that trip was to, but I do remember how I felt when the announcer said, stand up and claim that you are going to be on this incentive trip. I stood up and I was pumping my fist and I was like, yeah. And I remember saying the words, yes, pumping my fist, taking the action, but my body was feeling doubtful. I was second guessing, could I even qualify for this experience? And so even though I was saying yes with my actions, yes with my fist, yes with my lips, my body was like, I don't think we can do that, Siobhan. So as I ask you these two questions, I want you to pause for a second because there's a difference between when we answer with our head versus when we answer with our body and our spirit is really speaking to us. So what are these two questions? The first one is, do I deeply understand the person I'm speaking to? Okay, I paused for you to be able to see if it was a head answer or a body answer. Okay, the second question is, do I truly believe in the value of my work? Okay, so pause and see what's really coming up. Because here's the thing, you are showing up, you are consistently creating content. You've got all of your funnels in place for your lead magnets, your opt in, and your paid offers. But if you can't answer a yes to these two questions, then everything that you're creating is coming from confusion instead of conviction. So that means that when you are saying yes to all the actions you're taking, there's internal confusion happening. And that's why you've been asking the question, what do I need to do to get more people to buy? Or what strategy am I missing, but still not able to find any of the answers? It always leaves you at a dead end. So you're actually creating the content right now to prove yourself, to allow the audience to validate you, as opposed to you creating content that allows your audience to feel seen, heard, and understood. So you really want to study your audience so that you can be obsessed with them. You want to study your audience and be obsessive about what it is they're going through. What problems do they need solved? Just as much as you study your own craft. And you also want to have a deep conviction about your ability to help them get a result. So if either of these answers are not a yes, like a full resounding yes, then you're going to second guess every piece of content. You're going to wonder, am I saying the right thing? And you're going to be in this secret battle of, am I even good enough? So you've got all this external effort, but then you have this internal confusion. And we can never create results that are above how it is our energy is really speaking through. Because our audience will always hear everything we don't say, and they'll always feel every energy tone that is underneath our words. So when you're actually studying your audience, you want to know a couple things, and I'm going to give you 7 things that you're going to want to know as you're studying them. So, the first thing you're going to want to do is diagnose their real problem. What is it that is truly holding them back from being able to achieve the results that they've been desiring to achieve? The second thing is you want to disrupt their old thinking. What are their thought processes, their thought patterns around why they're not getting their results? Or what is it they think that they need to do in order to get results? And you want to disrupt that thinking because if they were thinking the right things, then they would have the result by now, but they don't. So you want to come in and disrupt that. So you have to know what those are. The third thing is you want to deliver a new possibility. Once you've disrupted their thinking, you've got to lay some foundation so that they have a new possibility to stand on. This is you shaping their perspective so that they can see a new vantage point, a new point of view on being able to achieve this solution. This is like you coming in and cleaning their glasses, putting some windshield wipers on their glasses so that they can start to see a new possibility. Number 4, you want to design a bridge. It is so essential for you to have steps in place for you to take your audience through so that you can deliver the result. And once you know what that is the bridge that you're going to be speaking through in your content so that they can see, oh, I can get to my result. And they're going to see that they can get that result with you. Number 5 is distill the message to their awareness. You want to speak to your audience in a way that they understand. Just imagine walking into a doctor's office and then you leave and you're like, wait, what did they say? Because they were talking doctor speak. And so by the time you left, you have no idea what they said, and you didn't even have time to get your questions asked. You didn't feel seen, you didn't feel heard or understood. So you want to make sure that you are using lingo or language that your audience understands. Bring it down to their awareness. Number 6 is draw out a new identity. The reason why they have the results that they have right now is because they see themselves a certain way. And so you want to create an identity for them, who it is they need to be, what it is they need to think and do, so that way they can achieve their new results. And so that is the identity that you want to frame for them. And then number 7 is you want to direct their next decision. Now, this doesn't have to be a call to action that's always telling people to buy my thing. It could be for something free. It could be to start a conversation and build connection with you in the comments. It could be anything. It could just be a reflective question. You're just inviting them into something. So you are essentially creating a new direction for them to start thinking on. Those are the 7 things. And I did a video on a deep dive of these 7 things in my last video. So make sure you check that out. But to develop a deeper conviction now with your belief in being able to help someone get a result, think about all of the people that you've already helped, all the people you've already served, and the people that have already gotten results. You want to think about them and you want to think about, well, where were they when you met them? What was their awareness? And then where did you take them to in terms of their thoughts and their beingness and their patterns? What was those steps? So you can visibly see with your own eyes that you have a process or a pathway to take people to get results. What I have found sometimes with people who are just what I like to call an intuitive genius, where you just know things. And sometimes you're like, I don't know how I know things, but I just know things. It's in our spirit. We've been exposed to it. I can find that sometimes we just know we can serve people, but we don't have a clear path or process. So this is why it's so essential to have a signature framework, which is exactly what I help my clients do, but have a signature framework so that you can visibly have something to believe in, something to anchor in. Because when you have that level of belief and conviction, well, now so does your audience. Because the energy that we have when we're creating the content is transferred to your audience on the other side of the screen, and what they're really buying from you is certainty. They are buying the certainty of you being able to help them and facilitate getting a result. So even if it was the smallest of results that you think you got for a person. Write that down. Start to make it visible. Start to make it very tangible to you so you can develop deep levels of conviction. So if you're feeling wobbly in who you're speaking to, if you're feeling wobbly in your conviction, it might feel like it's subtle, but our audience will always feel everything we haven't said. They will hear everything we haven't said because the energy of the undertone of those words is really what carries. So it is so important that we start cleaning this stuff up, and you want to have a deep, convicted yes to both of those questions. So I don't want you to overlook these questions because they truly are so important, because we have to know who we're speaking to and we have to believe we can get a result. But if we are fuzzy on either of those things, it doesn't matter what kind of content we put out. It's always going to be filtered through confusion instead of our conviction. I trust that this video serves you and blesses you. Be sure to grab your free training down below, the 7 content traps that is costing you sales. And I will see you all in the next video. Bye.